Hey, what's going on guys? Dano from ModBot. In today's video we are going to be moving forward with our AM8 project and actually tapping holes into our 2040 aluminum extrusions. Now I went ahead and found a really cool kind of guide tool for these aluminum extrusions on Thingiverse, so I went ahead and downloaded the STL, imported them into Matter Control 2.0, and I printed them out on the AlphaWise U20, and I had a 0.8 nozzle on it, so it printed out extremely quickly and was a really solid part. So once I had it printed out, I went ahead and took M5 screws and M5 T-nuts that I had for the AM8 build, and I just threaded two of them through the 3D printed guide and added two little T-nuts, and once I did that I went ahead and slid it into place on the aluminum. This is my first time that I've ever tapped any type of aluminum or added threads to anything, so I figured I would take you guys along for the journey. But once I had secured it in place, from what I'd seen, you're recommended to use some kind of a lubricant to help with actually tapping the threads. So I picked up some WD-40 and I used quite a lot of it, maybe a little bit more than needed, but it definitely felt like it helped. So I initially sprayed some into the extrusion and then began to turn probably 4, 5, 6 turns roughly, just half turns, and then I would counter screw kind of backwards to back up and then reseat the threads again, and just slowly did this. I reapplied some WD-40 along the way throughout each thread, or each time I went and created a thread, and it seemed to really make it a lot easier. It definitely took some elbow grease still though. I mean, again, I guess it is aluminum, but it all in all wasn't that bad. It took me quite a while, so I went ahead and created just a time lapse of it so you guys don't have to watch, but it was a really simple process, and again, it did take some time. I'd say all in all it was probably like a half an hour project to do 1, 2, 4, 8 or so holes. But they all turned out really well, and the reason why I used this kind of guide or stencil was so that way the threads would be straight, because I didn't have some kind of like vice grip to actually grip the aluminum down. I was just holding it in my hands, as you can see here, so I wanted to make sure that since again the aluminum is not exactly cheap, that I didn't screw up and accidentally thread in the screw crooked or sideways. So once I did the first one, I took an M5 screw, threaded it in, it went in super smooth like butter, and so once I did that I knew that I was good to go and was okay to move forward and do the rest of them. I'll place a link in the description, so that way if you guys want to print out this guide, if you're doing like the AM8 build or something similar, you can go ahead and do so. It's intended for a M5 tap, but you can get away, I'm sure, with an M4 or something like that. Quick little plug: if you guys do enjoy the content and you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so for just $1 a month. It's really appreciated, but not required at all. So then I went ahead and, as you can see, used a ton of WD-40, which started to build up all over the ground beneath me, and once I was done with that, everything was good. And this is kind of what's been putting me off on this project, is I didn't really want to go out, and I hadn't set aside time to do this, but it was, again, really easy, and this is the last time that we are going to see the Anet A8 with its acrylic frame. So I went ahead and also did some more kind of grunt work for this project and completely took apart the whole printer, which was a lot quicker than when I initially built it. It probably took me about 30 to 40 minutes. And that leads us to where this video started. So I took the acrylic frame outside. I'm in the process of moving here in the next month and a half, so I need to get rid of a lot of stuff. So I didn't have anywhere to keep this acrylic frame, and I think that it served its purpose and it's time for it to leave. So in the next video, the plan is to have as much of this built as possible on the aluminum, and then maybe the following video after that will be some calibration, and hopefully we'll get this thing going, because this has been a project that's been taking a lot of time. But let me know in the comments down below if you're excited to see this build, and very much so looking forward to making some more videos on it. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, guys.